Downing Street defends ex-Tory leader Michael Howard's claim UK would go to war with Spain over Gibraltar. Number 10 said Lord Howard was simply establishing British resolve to defend the territory's sovereignty. Downing Street has refused to condemn ex-Tory leader Michael Howard's claim that the UK would go to war with Spain over Gibraltar. Number 10 said all the Conservative grandee was doing was trying to establish the resolve that Theresa May's administration has to defend the sovereignty of the territory. Ms May also laughed off suggestions Britain was willing to use its military muscle to influence the debate with the EU on Gibraltar, saying it was judge or not war, borrowing a phrase from Winston Churchill. It came after the Spanish foreign minister urged the UK government to be cool, following the furore around Lord Howard's comments that Britain would go to war over Gibraltar in the same way it had over the Falklands. Theresa May's official spokesman said it isn't going to happen, when asked about the former Tory leader's comments on a potential war with Spain. But when repeatedly asked if Ms May had found the intervention unhelpful, he said, all that Lord Howard was trying to establish was the resolve that we have to protect the rights of Gibraltar and its sovereignty as I have set out. We've been very clear that we will support fully Gibraltar's right to its sovereignty. On Friday morning, European Council President Donald Tusk published his draft guidelines for the forthcoming Brexit negotiations with the EU, which said Spain would be given a veto over any deal that would affect the status of Gibraltar. The Number 10 spokesman added, these are draft guidelines that were issued on Friday. We expect the position to come back to us later this month. And obviously we will wait and see what is agreed by the 27 EU nations. Earlier on Monday, Spanish Minister Alfonso Dastis said Madrid must have a veto